honey, golden, sweet, perfect. It has fascinated humanity for thousands of years. But how exactly does this remarkable work of nature come to be? Deep in a lush garden, among flowers blooming in the sun, bees begin their extraordinary journey. Each one is part of a complex ecosystem where cooperation is the key to survival. Without this cooperation, there would be no honey, and none of the fruits and vegetables we eat every day. Bees have existed for 130 million years. They survived the dinosaurs, ice ages, and 5 mass extinctions. In that time, they perfected the process of honey production to absolute perfection. Today, let's trace the entire process, from the first drop of nectar to finished honey sealed in the comb. You'll see numbers that are hard to imagine, and facts that will change the way you look at a jar of honey. In search of food, bees collect nectar, the sweet essence that flowers produce specifically to attract insects. Nectar is essentially a sugar syrup, water with simple sugars, but in the hands of a bee, it transforms into something entirely different. When a bee lands on a flower, its long tongue, called a proboscis, reaches deep into the flower and draws nectar into a special stomach called the honey stomach. This is not an ordinary stomach, it's more like a fuel backpack. Even during collection, the bee adds the first enzymes, invertase and glucose oxidase, which begin the chemical transformation of the sugars. The honey stomach can hold 40 milligrams of nectar. That's almost half the bee's own weight. Imagine carrying a backpack that weighs half as much as you do. One bee must visit between 100 and 1,500 flowers to fill its honey stomach. It flies at 25 kilometers per hour. In this process, it not only collects food, but also pollinates the flowers, which is essential for their reproduction. After collecting enough nectar, the bee returns to the hive. On the way back, remarkable chemical processes take place inside her body. The enzymes the bee introduces into the nectar begin processing it. Sucrose breaks down into glucose and fructose. These 2 simple sugars give honey its characteristic taste and properties. When the bee reaches the hive, she passes the nectar to another bee. This exchange happens through regurgitation. Bees pass nectar from mouth to mouth, which allows further enzyme introduction and water reduction. Each transfer takes between 30 seconds and several minutes. It's like an assembly line where each bee adds something of its own. The nectar passes through several bees before reaching a honeycomb cell. Each transfer enriches it with more enzymes and reduces the water content. Once the nectar reaches the honeycomb cells, the bees begin further processing. The key task is evaporating the excess water. Nectar contains about 80% water, honey only 18%. To achieve this difference, bees use their wings, beating them at 230 times per second. They create airflow that accelerates the evaporation process. This is painstaking, time-consuming work that takes several days. But it's essential to achieve honey with the right consistency. The temperature in the hive is maintained at 35 degrees Celsius, which further supports the process. Bees regulate this temperature to within 1 degree, year-round, regardless of the weather outside. 12,000 bees work together to turn nectar into honey. That's not a random number. That's how many bees are needed to maintain proper air circulation in the hive and ensure even evaporation from all cells simultaneously. When the nectar reaches the desired density, the bees seal the honeycomb cells with wax. This is the moment when honey becomes ready for long-term storage. The wax caps protect the honey from moisture and contamination, providing ideal conditions for ripening. Wax is produced by special glands on the bee's abdomen. Small wax scales are chewed and formed into perfect hexagonal cells. Why hexagons? Because it's the most efficient shape in nature. It allows the most honey to be stored with the least wax. Bees solved this mathematical problem millions of years before humans did. It wasn't until the 19th century that mathematicians proved the hexagon is optimal. Bees always knew. 1 kilogram of wax costs the colony about 8 kilograms of honey. That's an enormous energy expenditure. That's why bees are so economical in building comb. Each cell has walls just 72 thousandths of a millimeter thick, thinner than a human hair. The numbers behind honey production are staggering. To produce half a kilogram of honey, bees must visit 2 million flowers, fly 80,000 kilometers, that's twice around the Earth, One colony can produce between 20 and 60 kilograms of honey per year. But most of that honey, the bees eat themselves. It's their winter reserve when flowers aren't blooming and access to nectar is limited. The beekeeper only harvests the surplus, what the colony produces beyond its own needs. A good beekeeper never takes all the honey. They always leave enough for winter. Interestingly, the oldest honey ever found is over 3,000 years old and is still edible. It was discovered in Egyptian tombs. Honey never spoils thanks to its low water content, acidic pH, and natural antibacterial properties, defensin, which bees produce in their glands. Honey hidden in the warm interior of the hive is not only a source of energy but an element of survival for the entire colony. But the role of bees extends far beyond honey production. When bees set out in search of nectar, they don't just make honey, they support the entire ecosystem. Their pollination activity is crucial for the growth of many plants, which in turn provide food for other organisms. 75% of the world's crops require pollination by insects. 1/3 of the food that reaches our table owes its existence to bees. Apples, strawberries, cucumbers, tomatoes, almonds, coffee, chocolate. The value of bee pollination is estimated at $265 billion per year. That's more than the GDP of most countries in the world. And bees do it for free, every day, for millions of years. In some regions of China, where bees have already gone extinct due to pesticide overuse, people must pollinate fruit trees by hand, with brushes, flower by flower. This shows how invaluable the work bees do without any compensation truly is. Through the work of bees, not only honey is created, but harmony in nature itself. But this system is fragile. Over the past 20 years, the bee population has fallen by 30%. Pesticides, habitat loss, disease, climate change. Bees that survived the dinosaurs and 5 mass extinctions are now fighting against us. Neonicotinoid pesticides attack the nervous systems of bees and disorient them so severely that they can't find their way back to the hive. We're paving over meadows and cutting down hedgerows. Climate change disrupts plant flowering cycles, so bees can't find food when they need it. Every garden with flowers is help. Every jar of honey from a local beekeeper is support. Every meadow instead of a lawn is a lifeline. Honey is not just sweetness, it's a symbol of cooperation, passion, and love of nature. Every drop of honey is a testament to the work of thousands of bees. From the first drop of nectar collected from a flower, through enzymes and wing ventilation, to the wax cap sealing the finished product. The entire process is a masterpiece of evolution refined over millions of years. The next time you reach for a spoonful of honey, think about the incredible journey it took before it reached your table. If the world of bees fascinates you, leave a thumbs up. Subscribe to Hive Mind so you don't miss the next episodes. See you in the next one.